Welcome to episode 66 of the Princeton Podcast, sponsored by the Municipality of Princeton, encouraging civic participation and amplifying the voices that shape our community. In this episode, Mayor Mark Frieda welcomes Helene Lanctuit, CEO of Share My Meals, a nonprofit dedicated to recovering surplus prepared meals and delivering them to communities in need across New Jersey. Founded in 2019, Share My Meals now recovers more than 20,000 meals each month, tackling both food insecurity and food waste. Helene and Mark discuss the organization's rapid growth, the challenges brought by COVID-19, and the logistics and technology that make large-scale meal recovery possible. The conversation also highlights the broader environmental and social impact of meal recovery, the launch of the Meal Recovery Coalition, and how community members can support this mission through volunteering and donations. So without any further introduction, let's join our host, Mark Frieda, and his guest, Helene Lanctuit, for episode 66 of the Princeton Podcast.
Ellen, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Mark, for having me.
So let me ask you a few questions here.
Sure.
What is the mission of Share My Meals? And then how does that mission, translate into your day-to-day activities?
Share My Meals facilitates the safe and efficient recovery of surplus prepared meals, and it delivers them to local communities. So every day we rescue excess meals from about 100 locations across New Jersey, such as business cafeterias, K-12, universities, and hospitals. And we support food security by delivering those nutritious meals either directly to the home of families or seniors here in Princeton and in Trenton, or through our network of 40 nonprofit partners.
It's pretty impressive what you all do. But so can you share with us, when was Share My Meals actually created? Who created it? What's the background there?
It's a nice story. It started back in 2019. Our founder is Isabelle Lambot, and she came up with the concept of Share My Meals. So first, she understood that existing food emergency systems, such as food pantries, were for sure responding to a need, but could be complemented with another type of offering, like already prepared meals directly to your door. And she also knew from her time in the corporate world that meals were being overproduced. And there's just no way for a cafeteria serving thousands of people every day to do an exact planning on quantity. So she connected the two dots and she came up with this brilliant concept.
Yeah, it is an amazing concept.
Yeah.
So how has the organization evolved since then to today?
Well, first there was COVID, right, to get through. So more people than ever needed food. The cafeterias shut down, but we got a grant from the New Jersey Economic Development Authorities at the time to start buying meals at cost from local restaurants. So first to keep them afloat, then keep the economy running, while at the same time supporting our community with nutritious food. So at that time, we developed the logistics, the processes, to ensure food safety. By the end of 2021, we launched our meal recovery program as it is now. First here in Princeton, recovering from, for example, university, eating clubs, and then Bristol-Myers Squibb's cafeterias. In 2022, we expanded in Mercer County, and that first full year alone, we recovered 30,000 meals. We had at the time 2 or 3 full-time staff, a driver, and we had the support of our volunteers. And today, 3 years later, we're about 20 staff members. We have about 300 wonderful volunteers that are really the backbone of our operations. And we recover 20,000 meals every month across now 14 counties in New Jersey. So we've grown quite a lot. Yeah.
It's amazing. It really is. So Share My Meals approach to food collection is clearly different than other food insecurity organizations. Can you explain how your model works and why it matters?
Of course. It is different to a typical food rescue organization in many ways. First of all, because we specialize in recovering prepared meals. And we don't recover bulk of pallets of food like other organizations might do at retailers. So that's really our specialty. And we wanted to specialize because it's so complex. It's perishable food we're treating with. So we developed the whole processes around that. One specificity is that we also didn't want to create any waste along the way. So we decided to use reusable containers. So we're not creating packaging waste. And we also developed our own technology platform, and our containers are actually holding our technology. Each of those trays that we're using have a barcode. And when a meal is picked up, it's scanned. When it's delivered, it's scanned. So we can track the journey of a meal. We can track where the containers are, so the inventory. But the technology does much more than that. It helps us communicate with the different partners along the way, from food donor, our volunteers, our recipients organizations, or the families. So we can, through the technology, be much more efficient. And we track, the time at which meals are outside of temperature control, when they're in transit, etc. So this gives us some very good quality control and helps us grow efficiently.
It's so impressive when you explain it all. Can you talk a little bit about, who are some of your key partners, whether they're local or further out, and what role do they play in helping Share My Meals achieve its mission?
We have such a broad diversity of partners, and working with them all is probably my favorite part of the job. First, our local sponsors and supporters who helped us get started. I'm thinking about the municipality, Dorothy's House, that generously lending us the building we're still in today. The restaurant partners we had at the beginning, Mercer Street Friends, and our volunteers. So they were there at the very beginning. They're still here today. That's so important. Then I'd say we have really key relationships with food service providers, our food donors. Such as Sodexo, URS, Flick, FISD, they help us thrive, and they have been the ones introducing us to new sites every month to help us grow. Then for sure, our corporate and institution partners, they benefit from our services, and in many cases, in return, they support us financially. They also enable us to scale our operations. And finally, I hope where we bring the most value are nonprofit recipient partners. And I just wanted to, because each case is quite different, wanted to give you a few examples of how we collaborate with them very locally here in Princeton. First, we work, for example, with the YWCA of Princeton and Princeton Nursery School. And every week we bring them prepared meals, bakery products, and also produce to complement the meals. They distribute those meals to families that they serve, so that when a parent picks up their kids at the end of the day, they go home with a meal. So we really love this program. This is really to go where people are. We also work in Trenton with, for example, the Trenton Area Soup Kitchen. We provide them with about 100 to 200 meals every week, every month, every week. And another great example we've been developing lately with Homefront, also supporting some of their families in Trenton directly to their home. So yeah, true gift to work with all of those partners.
Wow, impressive list. All right, so as somebody that lives here in Princeton, how can I get involved with Share My Meals, either through volunteering or donating? How do I do that?
I think it's important to understand the impact that we have here locally. First of all, we feed 80 families on a weekly basis and about 15 seniors through our program around Princeton and Trenton. So for this, we need volunteers for sure. We need volunteers to transport the meals, to recover them, and to deliver them to the different sites. We need many volunteers, and we have some very committed ones that come every single week. And we have, we can have volunteers that only commit to once a month. That's fine, as long as we have enough. We need volunteers with expertise as well, because, We need help in communications, reading legal contracts that we need to sign. We need help in fundraising. Any specific skills, and there's a lot of different skills that we need, is greatly appreciated. And for sure, we need financial support to make this all run. I mentioned we have 20 people in the staff. So that's the key for us to continue to thrive. So it's soon giving season. So we need, all of our residents to stand in solidarity with their community partners, because every one of us play an integral part in, the life of Princeton.
Yes. Yeah, clearly do. So how did you first get involved with Share My Meals, and what's your role today?
So today I'm the CEO of Share My Meals, and I also am the co-chair of the Meal Recovery Coalition that we'll talk about a bit later. My background is not in nonprofit management. I come from the private sector. As you can hear from my accent, I'm not from here. I'm French. And I worked most of my career in Switzerland at Nestlé in R&D. Expertise is in packaging, believe it or not. But I moved to working more in sustainability roles. And actually, when I was at Nestlé, I did work on the reduction of food waste, identification and quantification of food loss and food waste along the value chain, and what could be done, what were the causes, what could be done to tackle it from a corporation point of view. And really that topic stick to my mind, how massive it is as an issue globally. When I moved to Princeton with my family, so my husband got transferred, and I met with Isabelle about a week after landing, actually, and she was pitching for Share My Meals. And I went to see her and said, well, I have some time. I know about the topic. I want to volunteer. So I was pulled into the board to start with. As we were growing in 2023, I was asked to take the role of CEO, which, I'm so proud to be working on right now.
Yeah. It's a lot to be proud of.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond meals recovered, what other impacts are you tracking, such as environmental, public health benefits?
Yeah, so I was talking about food waste as a massive issue. Food waste is an issue for many reasons, because when food that is grown goes to the waste, you lose, all the energy, the water that has been put behind growing that food and processing it, packing it. So what not many people know is that when food is wasted and ends up in landfill, it emits methane. So it is actually a very strong contributor of greenhouse gas emissions. So it has been recognized as one of the major environmental issues. So reducing food waste by recovering the edible portion of food surplus is very, is very important.
Yeah. And
has broad impact. So we track that. There's tools that have been developed at the national level to understand the impact of, the different interventions to valorize food waste, including composting. And this is what we track. What we also are looking after bringing is, because we are bringing nutrition and, diversity of food to our recipients. So we know that we're bringing much more than just food. Receiving a meal is so valuable. A prepared meal is so valuable for anyone, actually, even, when you go at home and it's 7 p.m. and there's nothing in your fridge, you're like, okay, what do? I order Uber. No, a lot of people do not have that capacity, and providing them with a prepared meal saves them much more than money. It saves them time. It releases some of their stress. It gives them more well-being. That diversity of food that we bring is also for them, a gift. So we like, obviously, to track that and measure it as much as we can. Yeah.
It's a lot you're doing. So where do you see Share My Meals going over the next 5 years? I mean, seeing the growth you've had from the beginning to today, so just going forward.
So we're proud of our growth, but I like to say we're just scratching the surface of the two issues that we're addressing. We haven't talked about food insecurity so much, Mark, but this is a growing concern.
Yeah.
It's about 11% of the population in New Jersey. That's more than 1 million people facing food insecurity, and more than, I think, 260,000 kids. So people need food desperately, and this is growing. So for sure, we want to grow so that we could deliver more meals to them. And when it comes to the size of what's recoverable, and we will recover probably more than 200,000 meals this year. Again, we're proud of that. But we estimated that that's about 5 million meals that are recoverable in New Jersey every year.
That's amazing.
Every single year.
Yeah.
So we came to the realization that we could not do that alone. So where do we see ourselves in 5 years? We see ourselves, working collectively with our partners to recover 5 million meals as efficiently as possible, and supporting the current efforts. I mean, there's a lot of efforts being put behind providing food to our citizens. We want to complement those efforts. We want to be part of it. Yeah.
It's impressive. For listeners, who might be new to this topic, maybe we should explain exactly what is meal recovery and why it's such a urgent issue in New Jersey. I mean, you just alluded to the fact that the number of people that are food insecure is amazing. But anyway, if you could just talk a little bit about what is meal recovery.
Yes. So I talked about food waste as a major issue. If you look at the numbers, it's about 40% of all food produced that is being wasted. 40%. So out of those 40%, we looked at what is the share of prepared food that is being wasted, and it's about 20% of that. So if you do the math, in New Jersey, that's 100 million meals. So the fact that we came up with 5 million is because we wanted to have a realistic target.
Yeah.
Actually, it could be much more. So meal recovery is really about recovering this prepared food, specifically from the food service sector, but I would love to go towards the hospitality because there's also a lot of waste there. And I think even more quantities of food on a really safe manner and a control manner. So setting up standards to do that also is very key. So that everybody, we basically raise the bar in terms of the quality level, and we build trust, and just it becomes the norm.
Right.
Becomes the norm, and the waste, the trash, does not remain the norm as it is today. Right? It needs to be as easy. I keep saying for someone to put excess prepared food in a tray and donate it, than just putting it in the trash. That's what we're working towards.
Yeah.
This is what meal recovery is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds simple, but there's obviously a lot of details to it. But I mean,
it is simple.
Right. And it's such a great idea. It's like, why are we wasting food? So, anyway.
All right. Yeah.
When did Share My Meals decide to launch the Meal Recovery Coalition, and what was involved in getting that started?
Well, looking at the target numbers, again, 5 million meals, and our growth rate, we were like, okay, we're not going to be doing this on our own.
Yeah.
Also looking at our partners, we were working with the very large corporations and multinationals, recovering meals from them, but not talking about it really. So we said, if we put them, collectively around the same cause, and speak collectively to the government about what is meal recovery, what is the potential of it, then we'll be much stronger. So we put this coalition together. Now we have 12 members, 10 corporations, and 2 nonprofits. And our goal is first, improving the capabilities around meal recovery, because this is about logistics, but you need the means to put behind. Yeah. Those logistics. It is about bringing visibility towards the solution, but also towards the issues, because not everybody knows about food insecurity. even if it's at your doorstep, you don't realize how much people suffer from it. And not everybody knows about food waste. So just connecting those two and just talking about it. Yeah. And the coalition is about working in partnership towards those goals. It's really collaborating to create the pathways to recover and distribute those meals effectively. Yeah.
So I know the coalition brings together corporations, hospitals, nonprofits, government agencies, as you just mentioned. So what's it like working with? I mean, that's a pretty diverse group. There's a lot of different entities, beings, personalities there. How does that all work out?
You'd be surprised how proud everyone in these groups are to be part of this coalition, and the diversity of partners that we brought in brings credibility to our work. That's really what it does, and because we've aligned behind the same goals, we've built trust with a model that works and brings impact. So together, we're building an ecosystem that recovers hundreds of thousands of meals, that saves hundreds of tons of CO2 and reaches families across New Jersey. So that's really the power of collaboration.
Yeah. What moments or milestones stand out for Share My Meals over the last year or so?
As part of the Meal Recovery Coalition, specifically, what stands out for me is the launch event that was just a year ago in September 2024. It was a very special moment because we had this ambitious idea. It's a very ambitious initiative, but it became reality when we launched it. And it was when we were given the mandate to operate. We had diversity of voices in the room, and we asked each participant to share what were the main barriers to make meal recovery the norm in New Jersey. And what I liked about the event is that everybody could contribute in sharing their expertise. And there's really 3 topics that stood out. First of all, of course, getting the financial rights to make meal recovery happen. Second, aligning on sets of standards. I talked about building trust, ensuring food safety. And this is what coalition members are doing through working groups, developing guidelines for safe food recovery that everybody should align behind. And third, bringing visibility again. So that was a very special moment for me this year, because we've had those working groups. Everybody seems so committed, including we have, New Jersey Department of Health involved and Department of Environmental Protection. Everybody's taking it very seriously and understands the potential. Yeah. So this is great.
Yeah. So the coalition, you have this very bold goal of recovering 5 million meals each year. So what's it going to take to actually get there? And do you see New Jersey's model as something that could be replicated across the country?
It's going to take a lot of coordination. I'm happy to say that through the coalition, we started really working together with our peers. So there are other food rescue organizations in New Jersey operating in different territories. They were not speaking to each other up to now. So this brings us together. The last thing we want to do is duplicate efforts. We collaborate together. We understand that by working together, we'll just be much more efficient. So collaboration. Also with the large food banks, they are the experts of the distribution of food in their own territories. Including them into the work streams have been really essential. So this needs to continue. And obviously creating the right financial mechanism to support all of that. This is what it would take. Your question on replication is something outside of New Jersey, something we are actually working on already, because we think we are sitting on a model that's quite powerful. We are actually testing meal recovery in New York City at the moment. And we're getting traction, probably and certainly through partnership with existing organizations on the ground. And we're also testing the sharing of our technology in other states. So yes, creating a playbook that others will be able to use to implement in other states is what we want.
Yeah, it's amazing when you actually work with others and invite others to to assist you and not try to run over others, but use existing networks and capabilities that are already there. I mean, pretty much common sense, and it's great you're able to pull it together.
There is no point in competing,
right?
In this world. Yes.
Yeah. Let me just jump back to the whole idea about volunteering and or supporting you financially. So people can just go to your website, and that is the most likely the easiest way, I guess, to figure out how to do either one of those?
That is the easiest way. Or they can, contact one of us, info@sharemymeals.org. But yes, on the website, it explains very well what you can do, either send a check or make a wire transfer, or through your DAF, Donor Advice Fund.
Yes.
This is also possible, but yes, would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, because it's important to support what you're doing. It's an important mission, and your group is well worth supporting. So anyway.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Yeah, thanks for being here today. We appreciate it.
With pleasure.
Thank you for joining us for the 66th episode of the Princeton Podcast, produced by the podcast production team at HG Media and sponsored by the Municipality of Princeton. If you enjoyed this episode of the Princeton Podcast, please share it with your friends. Visit our website at princetonpodcast.com and be sure to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Podcasts, Audible, or wherever you get your podcasts.